Romantic Tales. Chapter 437. Huamin slowly opened her eyes. Her clear eyes were filled with gentleness. She would only show this gentle side of her when she was with Qin Chu. How many people would spend their lives with the person they loved the most until their hair turned white? On that starry night on Enchanting Mountain, she made a wish to a shooting star. At the time, Qin Chu asked her what it was. She didn't tell him because it was the first and most beautiful dream in her heart. In her half-awake state, Huamin felt her body become very light, as if she was floating. In the end, she couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality. In her exhaustion, she fell into a deep sleep. The next morning when Huamin woke up, it was already 7 o'clock in the morning. After she washed up, she walked downstairs. Qin Chu had already made breakfast and was reading the financial news on his phone. Morning. When Qin Chu heard Huamin's voice, he immediately put down his phone, looked up and gently asked, "Did you sleep well?" Huamin nodded. He was more or less a little shy. Last night the two of them were in the bathtub. "Hey, let's not talk about it. It's too dirty to talk about it in the morning." "He made Chinese food?" Huamin was a little surprised when she saw the Chinese breakfast on the table. Qin Chu rarely made Chinese food. Even if he did, it would be simple fried eggs, vegetable noodles or something like that. But today it was congee with pork and century egg and pumpkin pie. Oh my god, pumpkin pie. The pumpkin pie didn't look very round and it was even a little burnt. The congee is easier but the pumpkin pie is more difficult. I didn't get the timing right so it's a little burnt. I don't think so. It looks very delicious. After speaking, Huamin picked up a pumpkin and put it in her bowl. Then she lowered her head and took a small bite. "How is it?" Qin Chu asked a little nervously. "It's very tasty and sweet." "Did you steam the pumpkin and put it in the noodles?" Qin Chu nodded. "You're a genius." Huamin exclaimed. Pumpkin pancakes were more difficult to make. Although she liked to eat them, she was too lazy to make them. Most of them were half-finished products bought from the supermarket. After he came back, he fried it. It was his first time eating handmade food. Although it didn't look good, it was really delicious. Huamin had a great appetite. He ate 3 pumpkin pies and 2 bowls of congee with pork and century egg. After breakfast, the two of them went downstairs and prepared to go to work. "Honey, our company is having a charity auction tonight to raise money for the Mian Foundation. It starts at 7 p.m. so after you get off work, come find me at GK. The dress is at the company and we'll attend the auction together," Qin Chu instructed. "All right." Huamin was very interested when she heard that it was about the Mian Foundation. During her days on Enchanting Mountain, she and Qin Chu went into the countryside to experience the children there. All of them were malnourished and some of them even ate salted vegetables for lunch. It was so sad that it made her cry. Huamin didn't think that doing charity wasn't about love or anything. She just felt that she should help as many people as she could within her means. At the very least, seeing those children living a good life because of his own efforts, he felt very comfortable in his heart. Giving roses to others would leave a lingering fragrance in her hands. After they arrived at Southside, Huamin began working for the day. "Head nurse, a new patient came into room 7 last night and he refused to cooperate with us." "What illness did he have?" Huamin asked as he looked at the information on the computer. "Mania." "Are you kidding me? Isn't mania a psychiatric disorder? Why was he sent to the orthopedics department?" Huamin looked at the nurse in surprise. "The psychiatry department said that there were too many patients and they were full. The orthopedics department has had a lot of empty beds recently, so, nonsense, let's go take a look." Then Huamin led the nurse to room 7. As soon as she opened the door, a pillow flew at Huamin and almost hit her face. Luckily, she reacted quickly and tilted her head to avoid it. Chapter 438. "Get out, all of you, get out of here. I don't want to be here. I want to go out and play games." Huamin followed the voice and saw a 17 or 18-year-old boy lying on the hospital bed. He was skinny, his face was slightly yellow and there were dark circles under his eyes. It was obvious that he didn't sleep well. Huamin glanced at his medical record. Huang Jiaming, male, 17 years old, a student from second high school. Due to his bipolar disorder, he violated school rules many times and was forced to quit school. His parents were the owners of the largest supermarket chain in the area. He was the only child of a well-to-do family. With this information, Huamin could basically determine the cause of his illness. Therefore he walked towards the boy. Head nurse, don't go over there, it's dangerous, the nurse behind her reminded, afraid that Huamin would be hurt. You're Huang Jiaming, right? Who are you? Let me out or else I'll tear your hospital apart. Do you believe me? The boy said rebelliously. Huamin smiled slightly. What are you smiling at? Do you think I don't dare? The boy was furious. Huamin shook his head. I believe you, I just feel like I see myself in you. When I was your age I was also very naughty. Back then I skipped classes in second high and was caught by the principal when I climbed over the wall. You're from second high too? The boy's eyes were filled with excitement. Huamin nodded. Second high's teaching quality is high, but there's a lot of homework and exams. I didn't like to study back then, so I often skipped classes. Me too, I didn't like our teacher. He always had a sad face. The boy immediately agreed. You like to play online games? Yeah, I like to play League of Legends. What a coincidence, me too. My favorite character is Scarecrow. What about you? Huamin asked with a smile. Scarecrow? It's not good in one-on-one fights, but it's good in AoE. I like to use Annie. The boy smiled as if he no longer had any hostility towards Huamin. Annie, the cute little girl with the bear in her hand, Huamin said with a smile. The young man immediately said excitedly, yes, that little bear is very powerful. Every time I use Annie, my chances of winning are especially high. The prerequisite is that you don't get a pig-like teammate, Huamin added. Ah yes, that's right. Sister, it seems that we are kindred spirits. Can you discuss with the hospital and get me a notebook? It's so boring here. I want to play a few rounds. The youth looked at Huamin and pleaded. That's not a problem, but I have a condition. What conditions? You can only play for 1 hour a day and, after you're done playing, you have to cooperate with the nurse to draw your blood, infusion, and take your medicine on time, okay? The young man looked reluctant. If you don't agree, then forget it. I'll leave first, Huamin said, getting up to leave. Don't, sister, I promise. Then you have to be obedient and not make a scene. You have to take care of the patient next door first, okay? After you stay here for a while and get better, you can go home, Huamin comforted. The young man nodded obediently. After walking out of the room, Huamin ordered, bring my laptop to him every morning at 9:30 a.m. and take it back at 10:30 a.m. After that, give him an injection and take his medicine. Head nurse, is this okay? If the higher-ups find out? The young nurse was obviously worried. If the higher-ups find out, I'll keep an eye on him. Go. Okay. Huamin could basically confirm from the conversation just now that the young man was a child who lacked companionship since he was young. Even when he played games, the hero he chose was the girl with the bear. This proved that he lacked a sense of security and companionship. As the standard of living improved, many parents neglected their children's growth in order to make money, resulting in many children's mental health problems. Huamin sighed slightly. If she had a baby in the future, she couldn't be like this. She could make less money, but children only needed companionship for a few years in their lives. Once they grew up, they would no longer need their parents' protection. After a busy day, Huasiqian suddenly came to work when he was about to get off work. He knocked on Huamin's office door. Hi. Huamin looked up, his eyes indifferent. What's the matter? Chapter 439. I just came back from a business trip to Japan and brought you 2 bags. Then Huasiqian walked in and placed a large paper bag on Huamin's desk. The bag had the name of the brand on it, Hermes. Huamin knew that this was a luxury brand and wasn't cheap. Qin Chu had prepared a lot for her in her closet, but she didn't take them because they were too eye-catching. I don't want them. Don't think too much about it, I didn't buy them especially for you. I bought them for my date and I bought too many of them. These designs are on sale. If you don't like them, you can give them away or throw them away. It's up to you. Then Huasiqian turned around and left. Hey. Before Huamin could finish, he disappeared. Looking at the 2 designer bags in the paper bag, Huamin was speechless. Was Huasiqian crazy? Why did he buy her bags? Even if he didn't buy them especially for her, they weren't close enough for him to give her designer bags, right? However, ever since Huamin found out that she wasn't Huasiqian's daughter, she didn't dislike him as much as she used to. Since she wasn't even a part of the Hua family, she had to ask Huasiqian to resign from her position as the president of the Hua Foundation. After all, she couldn't take advantage of him. If her surname wasn't Hua, then what was it? Huamin was quite curious. After work, she didn't forget what Chin Chu told her this morning, so she drove straight to GK. In order to get to the top floor, Assistant Yang personally came down to greet her. A young lady, Assistant Yang immediately greeted her. Huamin smiled and followed Assistant Yang up to the top floor. Chin Chu was still in the meeting room. Xiao Yang poured a cup of coffee for Huamin and said, "A young lady, have some coffee first. The stylist and costume designer will be here soon. The president said that you should dress up first and go straight to the hotel." "Alright, thank you for your hard work." "Not at all, not at all. I have to thank a young lady for putting in a good word for me. That's why the president didn't deduct my salary." Yang really liked a young lady because he felt that she didn't put on airs at all and was easygoing. 3 minutes later, 2 women walked in, followed by the makeup artist and the costume designer. 40 minutes later, Chin Chu returned to his office from the conference room. When she saw that Huamin had finished dressing up, she was completely stunned. She was wearing a light yellow evening gown with a small V-neck and diamond-studded neckline. The skirt was slit, revealing one side of her thighs. It was sexy but not gorgeous. Her hair was coiled up and there was a white gardenia flower on one side. It was a fresh flower, very fragrant, very beautiful, full of immortal aura. On her feet was a pair of white high heels with diamonds on the heels. It was extremely luxurious. She was wearing expensive jewelry around her neck, ears and wrists. Huamin originally didn't like these things because she thought they were too flashy. However, the stylist said that these were GK's new designs and that a young lady would be able to advertise her brand if she wore them. So, in the end, Huamin silently accepted them. The bag in her hand was a white rectangular bag with tassels. It was simple and elegant, and was a limited edition Chanel bag. Huamin estimated that this outfit cost at least a few 100,000 yuan. She even had a lot of diamonds, but that was still a conservative estimate. The true value of this outfit was more than 8 million yuan, because the set of jewelry she was wearing was close to 5 million yuan. When Chin Chu walked in, Huamin was standing by the window and looking at the scenery downstairs. When she heard footsteps, she would turn around and look. Chin Chu was almost instantly killed. He finally understood a bit of an ancient poem. Looking back with a smile, all the beauties of the 6 palaces pale in comparison. This wasn't just the beauties of the 6 palaces pale in comparison. It was as if all the women in the world couldn't compare to Huamin's beauty. In his eyes, she was just like that. "Beautiful lady, have you seen my wife, Huamin?" Chin Chu asked with a smile. Chapter 440. Who's Huamin? Huamin asked on purpose. Chin Chu walked over and picked her up by the waist. Huamin was so scared that she screamed, "What are you doing? Put me down." Chin Chu spun her around in the air a couple of times before finally putting her down. Then he lightly kissed her lips. "Tonight you're the brightest. Don't try to fool me." Huamin chuckled. "I'm serious. Let's go." Then Chin Chu held Huamin's hand and swaggered out of GK. Huamin wasn't used to such a high-profile appearance during GK's rush hour. Luckily, Chin Chu held her hand the entire time, and the two walked out of the lobby and got onto the Maybach. Oh my god, is the president holding a woman's hand? Duh, of course it's a woman. Who else could it be? That woman is so pretty. Are they going to announce their relationship? I wonder which socialite she is. Yeah, the president finally has a girlfriend. I'm so sad, sob. We won't have a chance. Many female employees gossiped in private. Jiang Linyue walked out of the elevator with a sour expression on her face. Tonight was GK's charity auction banquet, and she had an invitation. She even prepared a dress for herself. She originally wanted to wear GK's 5 million yuan set of jewelry at the auction to show off and get the president to take notice of her. However, she was told that the president had already taken the set of jewelry. She just saw that woman wearing it, and she didn't feel good about it. She participated in the design of that set of jewelry, so why did it end up being someone else's? In the past, she was always in charge of GK's jewelry showcases. Director Jiang, are you still going to the charity banquet? The assistant asked carefully. Of course, why wouldn't I? I worked so hard to design that set of jewelry. After speaking, Jiang Linyue walked out with a cold expression and drove away in her BMW. It was Huamin's first time attending an auction banquet, so he wasn't used to it. There were a lot of people and they were all celebrities. In a trance, she saw a familiar face. Usuyu. He actually came as well. President Qin is here, someone in the crowd said. Qin Chu was dressed in a black slim-fit suit. Huamin was standing beside him holding his arm. The two of them slowly walked in under everyone's gaze. Su Yu's gaze became complicated and deep. "Io, is that Huamin? It's so bright, it almost blinded my 24K dog eyes," Wei Liao said with a smile as he held a glass of red wine. Su Yu didn't say anything, but his eyes never left Huamin. "President Qin, please sit in the front row." The person in charge of the hotel carefully introduced Qin Chu and Huamin. They walked to the most obvious spot in the front row and sat down. The air conditioner in the hall was very strong. Qin Chu took off his suit jacket and put it on Huamin. This small action caused quite a commotion. "Is that President Qin's girlfriend? How come the media didn't report about it?" "Yeah, didn't they say that the president just came back not long ago? Is she his girlfriend? Or is she an employee?" "She can't be an employee, they look really close." Many socialites whispered to each other. They suddenly felt like their hopes were dashed. They originally wanted to get closer to Qin Chu at the auction. However, he brought a girlfriend and took care of her meticulously. Look at how attentive she is. She didn't even ask, she just took off her suit jacket and put it on. It seems like Qin Chu really loves her, Wei Liao sighed. "No one will think you're mute if you don't speak," Su Yu said coldly. Chapter 441. You can't stand it already? If they show off their love later, you'll be even more upset. I told you not to come, but you came looking for abuse. You even spent money to get abused, Wei Liao complained. GK invited many celebrities to the charity dinner, so it was up to the guests to attend. The purpose of this dinner was obvious. The company would auction off items and the guests would fork out money for charity. However, many people were willing to come, not because they were passionate about charity, but because they wanted to improve their relationship with GK. They wanted to build a good relationship with the new president Qin Chu so that they could work together in the future. Su Yu didn't have to come because he was in the entertainment industry, and GK had never invested in media. He only came because GK's foundation was called the Mian Foundation. Su Yu knew that the foundation was named after Huamin, so he had to come. He even dragged Wei Liao with him. "Let's begin," Qin Chu ordered. Then the MC walked to the center of the room and began the prelude. The first item is a sandalwood fan from the early Qing dynasty. It's part of GK's president's collection, and the starting bid is 300,000 yuan. I bid 300,000 yuan, 350,000 yuan, 450,000 yuan. Several rich businessmen began to fight over the item, and in the end the sandalwood fan was sold at a high price of 600,000 yuan. Huamin was in a good mood as she watched the auction. She knew that all of the money raised from this auction would go to the Mian Foundation. The money would be used to pay for the children's meals and school construction in the depths of Yunding Mountain. More than an hour had passed since Zhang Xian had taken a lot of photos. "Are you hungry?" Qin Chu whispered into her ear. "I'm okay. Bear with it for a bit, we'll go eat after this." "Okay." Huamin nodded. The two of them sat in the first row with their fingers interlocked, and they continued to watch the auction. Finally, the MC announced solemnly, "The last item is GK's new jewelry. It was developed by 7 famous designers and it's called Prosperous Age Fanghua." Then the big screen began to introduce the composition, style and design concept of the jewelry. Huamin only found out that the set of jewelry he was wearing was worth 5 million yuan after reading the introduction. Finally, the host said, "Let's welcome Ms. Hua to the stage to show everyone the real deal." "Go, don't be nervous." Qin Chu comforted her. Huamin nodded. He got up and carefully walked onto the stage. Then he stood under the spotlight. She had a warm smile on her face from beginning to end. Her smile was very sweet and beautiful. Su Yu's eyes never left her face. "Hey, don't look at it anymore. Be careful that it gets stuck in your eyes and you can't pull it out," Wei Liao joked. Next up is Flourishing Youth. The starting price is 5 million. "Let's begin." 5 million, someone shouted in pain. 6. 8 million. 8,800,000. 10. 5 million. This was a limited edition set of jewelry. Because the company only designed one set, many rich businessmen kept it for themselves. They would either give it to their wives, daughters or lovers. All in all, the bidding was intense as soon as the auction began. The price jumped by a lot as well. 18 million. Qin Chu raised his paddle. Did he want to pay for it himself? No, he only wanted to raise the price to raise more money. As expected, after Qin Chu joined in, the competition became even more intense. 19. 9 million. Someone raised his paddle, 30 million. This time Qin Chu directly jumped the price by 10 million. No one made a move. After all, 30 million was already too high. 30 million going once. 30 million going twice. 30 million. The host didn't finish his sentence. Before the host could finish speaking, a deep voice from the back row said, 50 million. As soon as this was said, the crowd went into an uproar. Huamin was also slightly surprised. She stood in the middle of the stage and looked through the crowd at the last person who raised his paddle. That person was Suyu. Chapter 442. When everyone saw that it was Suyu who raised the placard, they didn't find it strange anymore. After all, one of Suyu's biggest hobbies was to burn money. Young Master Su made a bid, no wonder. I was wondering who was so generous. Yeah, I wonder which girlfriend Lord Su is going to give this set to. He's so lucky. It's probably Zhao Qingya. Hasn't she been favored recently? I don't think so. I heard that he's already gotten rid of her and replaced her with someone new. The socialites whispered to each other. The host was a bit excited. 50 million. President Su of Imperial Star Entertainment has bid as high as 50 million. Is there any higher bid? The crowd fell silent. 50 million going once, 50 million going twice, 50 million going thrice. Sold. Congratulations, President Su Yu of Imperial Star Entertainment. As soon as the host finished speaking, the crowd burst into thunderous applause. Qin Chu didn't say anything, but the corners of his mouth curled up. This set of jewelry was worth 5 million, but it was sold for 50 million. It was worth it. You're really burning money. That set of jewelry was only 5 million. You're really doing GK a favor. Oh wait, I mean you're doing Huamin a favor. Wei Liao felt bad for Suyu. President Su, please come down and accept the jewelry, the host said with a smile. Suyu stood up, adjusted the collar of his suit and walked up to the center of the stage. Two hostesses carefully removed the jewelry from Huamin's body. It was an earring, a necklace and a bracelet. Then they placed it on a tray and handed it to Huamin. Huamin handed the jewelry to Suyu. Congratulations. Suyu didn't say anything as he slowly took the jewelry. Then he looked around and said, since I bought this set of jewelry at such a high price, can I make a small request? President Su, please go ahead, the host immediately responded. I want to take a picture with Miss Hua. After he said that, everyone was dumbfounded. The dignified Suyu actually asked to take a photo with this model wearing jewelry. He really didn't change his romantic nature. Huamin was a little surprised. After all, he did not expect Suyu to make such a request. She looked at Qin Chu awkwardly. Qin Chu did not seem to object. After all, this was a public occasion. That's not a problem. Miss Hua, please stand still. The host didn't know the relationship between Huamin and Qin Chu. So naturally he agreed to this request on her behalf. Just then Qin Chu slowly walked onto the stage. President Su spent so much money to buy the jewelry, which is a great honor for GK. To express my gratitude, I'd like to take a photo with him. After speaking, Qin Chu walked between Suyu and Huamin. Qin Chu is so mean. Wei Liao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Suyu's expression was already very ugly, but he had no choice but to take this strange photo with the three of them. It was also the only time in their lives that the three of them would take a photo together. Huamin knew that Qin Chu wouldn't give Suyu a chance to get close to her so easily. When she saw Qin Chu walk up and stand between her and Suyu, she almost burst out laughing. However, she forced herself to hold it in. Finally, the host handed a photo of the three of them to Suyu. President Su, here's your photo. Suyu took the photo with a cold expression and remained silent. After the last piece of jewelry was auctioned, the charity event ended. Qin Chu held Huamin's hand and walked out. What do you want to eat? Let me think, spicy hot pot is fine. I'm craving spicy food all of a sudden. Huamin smiled. Qin Chu nodded gently and walked out with Huamin. Suyu stood at the door, seemingly waiting for someone. When he saw Huamin and Suyu walk out, Suyu walked up to them and said, "This is for you." Huamin looked at the set of jewelry in Suyu's hand in astonishment. President Su, you should keep such an expensive item for yourself. If my wife likes it, I can ask the design department to redesign it. Qin Chu smiled. This is mine. I can give it to whoever I want. Huamin, take it. Suyu handed over the jewelry gift box and forced it into Huamin's hands. Chapter 443. I don't want it. Huamian immediately returned the jewelry to Suyu. Her actions were swift and without any hesitation. Why? Because it's too expensive. I don't think it's expensive. Take it. You took care of me for so long at the recuperation center. Take it as a gift from me to thank you. Suyu gave a lame excuse. Huamin shook his head firmly. I'm an employee of the recuperation center. That's just my job. Thank you for your kindness. Then Huamin held onto Qin-Chu's arm. Honey, let's go eat. Okay. Qin-Chu nodded. Then the two got into the Maybach and left. Suyu stood there with the jewelry in his hand as he watched the two of them leave. He didn't feel good about it. He had never envied anyone in his life because he was born with everything that others wanted. But today he envied Qin-Chu from the bottom of his heart. Huamin stood beside him and smiled gently at him. I told you not to come. You're just asking for trouble. Wei Liao came out of the car and dragged Suyu into the car. Qin-Chu and Huamin then drove to a Sichuan spicy hot pot restaurant. The restaurant wasn't big, but it was quite crowded. Qin-Chu wanted to change seats because there weren't any private rooms here. However, Huamin thought it was too troublesome, so the two of them sat in the lobby on the first floor. The lobby was quite big. There were about 30 or so tables and the environment was quite nice. Huamin and Qin-Chu found a table for two and sat down. Huamin picked up a pen and began to order. Qin-Chu took out his phone and looked at the summary from the charity dinner. We received a total of 230 million yuan. Not bad. Qin-Chu nodded. That much? Huamin was slightly surprised. It's not that much. Suyu himself bought 50 million worth of items. Qin-Chu smiled. Speaking of Suyu, Huamin was a little embarrassed as she explained, Honey, Suyu and I understand. You don't have to explain. I know your character. Qin-Chu touched Huamin's small hand that was holding the ballpoint pen. Huamin suddenly felt a lot better. She was really afraid that Qin-Chu would be angry because of this. Luckily, Qin-Chu didn't. He could understand her position. Huamin and Qin-Chu sat at the table next to each other, separated by a wall. There were 6 or 7 men eating at the table. Their voices were especially loud and noisy. The waiter went over to remind them several times, but it was no use. Just then a tall beauty walked in through the door. She was about 1.7 meters tall, had long legs, fair skin and good looks. She looked like she was in her 20s. Although it was autumn, she only wore denim shorts and a white loose t-shirt. In her hand was an Louis Vuitton handbag. She sat down not too far away from Huamin and Qin-Chu. The men at the table next to them looked over from time to time. Then they deliberately said in a loud voice, Nowadays, do you know what a young woman wearing designer clothes relies on? Her godfather. She calls him godfather during the day and gets fucked by him at night. Unsightly words followed. Huamin couldn't stand it anymore. She really hated it when men gossiped. Why did they say such disgusting and obscene things instead of eating? The beauty obviously heard it as well. She glanced over at them. The men became even more impudent. Some even whistled at the woman. It was blatant flirting. The beauty's expression changed. Then she got up and walked towards the bathroom. As she walked, she took out her phone. Dad, ask someone to come over and help me take care of something. When she walked past Huamin heard her say a few words. Oh no, someone's going to be in big trouble. Huamin looked at the group of stinky men with an amused expression. They were still drinking happily. 10 minutes later, 6 Mercedes-Benz 600 sedans stopped in front of the hot pot restaurant. More than 10 men in black t-shirts got out of the cars with baseball bats in their hands. As soon as they came in, they didn't say anything and directly beat up the men at the table. Immediately, beer bottles flew everywhere and howls of pain filled the air. The other customers were so scared that they screamed. Qin-Chu immediately pulled Huamin to the side, afraid that she would get hurt. A few minutes later, the men all fell to the ground. Their faces were covered in blood. It was a horrible sight. The tall beauty slowly walked towards them in her high heels. Chapter 444. Then the beautiful woman stepped on one of the men's hands and slowly said, Weren't you curious about who I relied on? Let me tell you, I didn't rely on my godfather, it's my biological father. Don't talk nonsense. Don't ever let me see you again or I'll beat you up every time I see you. Then the beautiful woman and her men turned around and left, without even eating the hot pot. The restaurant owner was so scared that he didn't dare to stop them. Someone even called the police, but when the police came it was just a routine question. Were you scared? Chin Chu asked as he hugged Huamin. No, I enjoyed watching them. Who told them to gossip? Great, they got beaten up, didn't they? A bunch of grown men gossiping and insulting a little girl. How disgusting. They deserved to be beaten up. Huamin laughed. Let's go to another restaurant. The two of them didn't even get to eat much before this happened, so they stopped eating. On the way home they passed by a McDonald's. Huamin said that he hadn't had hamburgers in a long time, so the two of them ate fast food. Inside a high-end club, Suyu was in a bad mood. He drank 2 bottles of wine and was a little tipsy. Don't drink anymore, we're almost done, Wei Liao said as he looked at the empty bottles. Suyu didn't say anything, but his expression was quite melancholic. He picked up his phone and scrolled through Weibo. Huamin hadn't updated in a long time. He wanted to talk to her but he couldn't reach her. It wasn't that he didn't have her phone, but he couldn't call her. Suyu was quite dignified when it came to this. Pestering her wasn't a solution and it wasn't his style. Old Wei, do you think I still have a chance? Suyu sighed and asked. Are you telling the truth or a lie? Of course I'm telling the truth. Suyu rolled his eyes at him. Judging from the current situation, the chances of you succeeding are very small, very slim. After all, you've only known Huamin for a few days. I heard that Chin Chu and her have known each other for many years. They were high school classmates and childhood sweethearts. Then you'd better tell the lie, Suyu immediately retorted. The lie. If you're thick-skinned enough to force yourself between them, it's not impossible. Although it's shameful to be a homewrecker, true love is innocent. Why did Suyu feel even more depressed? Did he really want to be a homewrecker? Young Master Su? Or you could just wait for Huamian to get divorced, Wei Liao added. What if she doesn't divorces me? Am I a fucking monk? Suyu said angrily. If she doesn't want a divorce, then think of a way to get one for her. Suyus, faces. The point is, I'm telling the truth. Wei Liao snickered. After a while he picked up an empty wine bottle and threw it on the floor. Clang. The sound of the wine bottle shattering scared everyone in the private room so much that they didn't dare to move. What's wrong with Lord Su? A few rich kids asked. Suyu slowly got up and grabbed his tie. The thing I hate the most in my life is childhood sweethearts. Then he slammed the door and left. Suyu felt like the heavens were unfair. Why didn't he meet Huamin first? Why did it have to be Chin Chu? Why wasn't Huamin his high school classmate? The problem was, Suyu didn't even have the time to attend high school before he joined the army. Those few years were blank. Suyu got into the black Lamborghini Element and sped off. The black Lamborghini roared in the middle of the night. The sound was deafening. Suyu was a good racer. Whether it was his fancy performance or his driving skills, they were all excellent. It took him less than 8 minutes to drive from the clubhouse to the private mansion. After he got out of the car, he vaguely saw a small figure standing at the door. After he saw clearly, he frowned slightly. Why are you here? Chapter 445. The residential area Suyu lived in was famous for the rich. Only the residents of the area could enter. However, Zhao Qingya was a celebrity and Suyu's ex-girlfriend, so the security guards didn't stop her when they saw her car. Suyu gave the pink Lamborghini to Huamin last time, but Huamin didn't want it. In the end, Zhao Qingya picked it up. She didn't bring her agent today. Plus, she came here in the middle of the night to wait for Suyu. Everyone knew what she was thinking. I've been waiting for you for more than an hour. Zhao Qingya didn't have the keys to the mansion, so she could only wait outside. She knew that Suyu didn't want to spend the night outside. They used to stay in a hotel, and after they were done they had to go back to the private mansion. Suyu bought this mansion for more than 50 million yuan, and spent another 50 million to renovate it. The cost was more than 100 million yuan. It shocked all the rich people in the area. The private garden in the back alone was more than 400 square meters, which showed how luxurious it was. Ever since Suyu came back from the military, he rarely went back to the Su family's old mansion. He was used to being alone. Zhao Qingya came here a few times, but she didn't spend the night here. Suyu didn't seem to want to bring a woman back. After all, this was his real home. Come in. Suyu pressed the remote, used his fingerprint and retina password to open the mansion door. Zhao Qingya was wearing a white dress, looking pure and sweet. She followed behind him and walked in silently. What would you like to drink? Suyu asked in front of the fridge. Coke. Suyu took out a can of beer and a can of Coke. He handed the can of Coke to Zhao Qingya, then sat down on the sofa. There was a control panel on the edge of the sofa. With a light press, the air conditioner, TV, air purification system, and the super luxurious nightlight in the aquarium all turned on. Suddenly the lights were on. Wei Liao once said that Suyu was going to turn his home into an aquarium. The ceiling and the surroundings of the living room were made of tempered glass, and there were all kinds of tropical fish swimming around. Seaweed, corals, reefs, and even white whales and sharks. Of course, they all had their own areas. Last time Wei Liao asked if he wanted a place with penguins and polar bears. Suyu said seriously, I'll think about it when I'm free. Wei Liao almost choked. Not to mention Suyu, anyone would feel comfortable in such a luxurious mansion. The feeling of returning home was like jumping into the sea. What's the matter? Suyu sat on the sofa opposite Zhao Qingya and asked indifferently. It's nothing. I just haven't been in a good mood lately, so I wanted to come and see you. Didn't you go out to film? Suyu asked casually. I haven't asked my manager to arrange so many scenes for me recently. My body is a little weak this year. Last time I fell from the pressure and injured my waist, so a lot of the fight scenes were cut off. If you're not feeling well, then you should take a break and rest for a while. Maybe you should go on a trip overseas. Zhao Qingya's eyes lit up and she immediately said, President Su, do you have time? How about we go to New Zealand for a few days? I don't have time, I'm busy at the company. Suyu refused right away. Zhao Qingya was slightly disappointed. You really don't have anything else to talk to me about, right? Suyu was drunk and didn't have the patience to continue chatting with Zhao Qingya. He wanted to go to bed. Upon hearing this, Zhao Qingya slowly walked over and sat down beside Suyu. Her fair hand slid down from Suyu's chest. President Su, I want to stay with you tonight. This was the first time Zhao Qingya was so straightforward with her seduction. In the past she always tried to resist. Upon hearing this, Suyu narrowed his eyes and sized up the woman beside him. Chapter 446. Zhao Qingya saw that Suyu didn't say anything, so she boldly reached her hand down. She believed that her passion could seduce Suyu. Perhaps she was too confident in herself, so when Suyu pushed her away, she was a little dumbfounded. I'm not in the mood. If you want to stay, there's a guest room on the first floor. If you don't want to stay, you can drive home. Then Suyu got up and walked upstairs to his bedroom. Zhao Qingya felt like she was slapped in the face. This was the first time she actively threw herself at him, but she was rejected. She was almost certain that Suyu wasn't interested in her. Did he like someone else? She originally thought that Suyu liked Mion, but recently she hired someone to keep an eye on Mion. That woman was either acting or going home. Basically, she had zero interaction with Suyu, and they would occasionally run into each other at the company. Suyu didn't seem to care about her either. He seemed to have forgotten who Mion was. If she wasn't a newcomer at the company, could she be a socialite or someone outside of the industry? Zhao Qingya was confused. Was she going to stay the night? Of course not. Why would she stay in the guest room? It was meaningless. Just as she got up and was about to leave, she suddenly saw Suyu's phone light up. Turned out that he had a WeChat message. She looked at the notification and saw that it was from Wei Liao while her phone was still flashing. She suddenly discovered a key piece of information. Suyu's screensaver was a woman's photo. This had never happened before. She had known Suyu for a few years, and Suyu's screensaver had always been the scenery. Sometimes he would change it to his beloved car. There had never been a woman's photo that could be used as his screensaver. But now there was one. Even though it was just a flash, Zhao Qingya still recognized it. Wasn't that woman the nurse at Southside? She was the plain-looking one who didn't stand out at all. She was someone who was easy to forget. Actually seduced Suyu. Wasn't it just for fun? Zhao Qingya felt very hurt. When she first heard rumors that Suyu was interested in a nurse, she thought that it was just because Suyu didn't want to be lonely when he was recuperating and wanted to have some fun. She didn't expect that Suyu would still contact her after such a long time. Moreover, he even used that woman's photo as his screensaver. This was simply huge news. After Suyu went upstairs, he looked for his phone. Suddenly, he remembered that he had left it downstairs, so he turned around and went downstairs. You haven't left yet? He asked coldly when he saw Zhao Qingya still standing in the living room. Right away, President Su, are you in love with another woman? Zhao Qingya asked pitifully as she bit her lip. Su Yu raised his eyebrows. Do I need to report to you who I like? No, that's not what I meant. I just wanted to say that if you really have a woman you like, I'll give you my blessing. Thank you for your blessing. Then Su Yu picked up his phone and went upstairs. Zhao Qingya, on the other hand, left Su Yu's private mansion dejectedly. Upstairs, Su Yu lay on his spacious bed. He turned on his phone and quietly stared at his screensaver for a few seconds. Even though this photo was taken secretly, the more he looked at it, the more he liked it. Suddenly he thought of something. He got up and took out a photo he took at the auction today from his bag. Then he took out a pair of scissors from his drawer and cut off Qin Chu from the middle, throwing it into the trash can. Only he and Huamin were left. Without any obstacles, they looked much more pleasing to the eye. Then he found some glue and glued the photo back together. Needless to say, the photo didn't look out of place at all. Finally, Su Yu happily took a photo with his phone and photoshopped it, fixing the lighting and gaps in the middle. Finally, he sent it to Wei Liao. Fuck. What's going on? Wei Liao immediately replied when he saw the photo. Chapter 447. The situation is what you saw, Su Yu replied proudly. Don't talk nonsense with me. I'm asking about the photo. Isn't there a person in the middle? I cut it off, then glued it back together. Finally, I photoshopped the photo. Ha, I always thought you were a silver genius. Wei Liao said halfway. What about now? Now I realize that you're a genius. You must have been a tailor in your previous life. How did you come up with this? Wei Liao laughed maniacally. Su Yu replied proudly, I'm the only one who can come up with such a good idea. Is it really okay for you to be so fantasizing? It's not as satisfying as being in real life. You have to continue working hard and become a real person as soon as possible. Go away. You're too dirty. I can't talk to you. Go to sleep. Damn, you're still pretending to be innocent. You really look like you're experiencing your first awakening of love. Wei Liao looked at Su Yu as if he had found his first love. He was so mysterious all day. He was speechless. When Huamin and Qin Chu returned home, it was already very late. The two showered and went to bed. Huamin was wearing a white lace nightgown. He lay in Qin Chu's arms and played with his phone. He scrolled through his WeChat moments. He found a very sensitive issue. Jixin posted a picture of spicy duck head in Wanda Plaza in the morning. Huang Yu also posted a picture in the evening. Although it wasn't a big deal, the two of them might have gone to eat separately. It was just a coincidence. However, Huamin felt that the two of them must have eaten together. Moreover, Jixin's recent posts on WeChat moments were obviously filled with happiness. Huang Yu was also shy like a little woman. This child is really disobedient. Huamin sighed. What's wrong? Qin Chu turned his head and asked. Huamin then told him about Jixin and Huang Yu. After hearing this, Qin Chu didn't have much of an expression. It's normal for young people to fall in love. That's right. I'm not trying to stop Jixin from dating. It's just that he and Huang Yu are both simple-minded. If things don't go well in the future and they get hurt, it'll be a huge blow to both of them. You seem to be thinking too much. Isn't it normal to be frustrated in love? Jixin is a man, you can't always worry about his injuries. The more you worry about him, the harder it will be for him to be independent. This was Qin Chu's opinion. Perhaps men and women had different standpoints. Huamin was eager to protect her younger brother, so it was normal for her to be worried. Qin Chu was right. Who doesn't fall in love? Who can get into a relationship on the first try? Isn't it normal to break up? What's more, the two of them were in love and hadn't broken up yet. Huamin's imagination was already running wild. You're right, so don't think too much. You'll get tired if you think too much. Qin Chu dotingly flicked Huamin's forehead. Huamin immediately closed his eyes. Then let's go to sleep. I'm sleepy. Are you going to sleep now? We still have things to do. You're so perverted. Huamin immediately covered his face with his hands. Honey, I'm talking about how we haven't said goodnight to each other before we go to sleep. Are you thinking about other places? Huamin was now completely embarrassed. He immediately lifted the big blanket and hid his head under it. Qin Chu also hid under it. Don't touch me, it tickles. Under the blanket, the two of them were tangled up. The next day, Huamin was working the night shift, so he drove home during the day and bought a lot of things. Because Yang Merong was still angry, she didn't say a word to Huamin, nor did she go to pick up the things he bought. Mom, take care of yourself. I'm leaving now, Huamin said before he left. Yang Merong still ignored him, but Huamin felt like his mom didn't kick him out, nor did she mention anything about cutting ties with him. It was probably because Jixin's words last time were effective. At around 5 p.m., Huamin drove to Southside Recuperation Center. He had a staff meal and then had a meeting. When he came out and was about to do his rounds, he received a phone call. Is this Huamin? You are. Looking at the unfamiliar number, Huamin was confused. Chapter 448. I'm Zhao Qingya. I'm on the rooftop of your hospital. Can we talk? Miss Zhao, I don't think we know each other that well. I have something to talk to you about. That's all. Zhao Qingya hung up before Huamin could say anything. Huamin was speechless. She knew that Zhao Qingya was a popular celebrity. She would occasionally go home and watch some of Zhao Qingya's period dramas. Zhao Qingya's acting skills were pretty good. However, Zhao Qingya really didn't want to have anything to do with Zhao Qingya in her daily life. Zhao Qingya didn't like Zhao Qingya and thought that Zhao Qingya wasn't a good person. However, there wasn't anything going on between her and Suyu, so she didn't care about Zhao Qingya. If another woman tried to fight with her for Qin Chu, she would teach her a lesson. Zhao Qingya thought about it and decided to go to the rooftop. If she didn't go this time, Zhao Qingya might continue to pester her. 5 minutes later, on the rooftop of the nursing home, Zhao Qingya's agent and bodyguards were waiting at the bottom of the stairs. Zhao Qingya was wearing black sportswear, a black baseball cap and a white mask. Huamin was wearing a white lab coat. You're here. Zhao Qingya heard footsteps and turned around. Miss Zhao, why are you looking for me? If it's business, I suggest you talk to me in my office. If it's personal, I don't think we know each other that well. There shouldn't be anything personal to talk about. My time is precious, so I won't beat around the bush with you. I'll get straight to the point. When did you seduce young Master Su? Young Master Su? You mean Suyu? Huamin frowned slightly. Don't play dumb. Zhao Qingya took off her mask and stared coldly at Huamin. There's nothing going on between Suyu and me. How could I seduce him? Miss Zhao, are you hallucinating because you've been acting too much? Huamin sneered. Zhao Qingya's expression changed slightly. Her eyes were filled with anger. Don't talk nonsense. I saw your photo on young Master Su's phone last night. My photo? Huamin was slightly surprised. Yes, he even used that photo as his screensaver. Now you're telling me that there's nothing going on between you and young Master Su? Are you kidding me? Or do you think I'm an idiot? Zhao Qingya's face was ferocious when she cursed, which was completely different from her usual image on TV. If Qin Chu's fans saw her like this, they would probably be scared. Are you sure? Of course, she replied. Now as Huo Qingya. Since when did he have a photo? She didn't remember giving it to him. Oh, I remember now. Was it at the charity banquet? She thought it was the photo they took together. However, before she could finish, Zhao Qingya interrupted her. Young Master Su is not suitable for you. Why don't you take a look at your own status and quit as soon as possible? Young Master Su has a lot of women around him and all of them are more outstanding than you. None of them last long and you are just a flash in the pan. So quit while you are ahead. You have been with him for so many days and you must have reaped a lot of benefits. Then stop immediately and stop pestering him or you will die miserably. Otherwise you'll end up dead. Who are you to tell me this? Miss Zhao? If I remember correctly, Suyu never admitted that you're his girlfriend, nor did he give you any status. You're just an artist under his company. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you're here to talk to me? And you're so arrogant as to warn me. Chapter 449. I've been with young Master Su for 3 years, and I'm the woman who's been with him the longest. I won't leave him and I won't allow any other woman to be with him. I can play with him, but after that don't blame me for being rude. You're just a nurse from a small hospital, don't be so arrogant. Don't think that just because young Master Su has your back you can do whatever you want. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'll give you 3 days to break up with young Master Su or else. Otherwise. Zhao Qingya didn't finish her sentence, but Huamin knew exactly what she wanted to say. There was nothing going on between her and Suyu. At most it was Suyu's unrequited love, but now Zhao Qingya's attitude was so bad. Huamin was in trouble. She was being treated like a sick cat if the tiger didn't show its power. What I want to do is my own business. If you lay a finger on me, you're dead meat. I'm just an insignificant nurse, but you're no better than me. To put it nicely, you're a celebrity, but to put it bluntly, you're just an actress. Don't look down on each other, we're all relying on our own abilities to make a living. Are you openly going against me? Zhao Qingyao was furious. You're being unreasonable. If I knew you were here to talk to me about this, I wouldn't have come to the rooftop. You're wasting my time. Also, I have a warning for you. If you can't control a man, that's because you're useless. It's useless for you to come to me. Why don't you go and find Suyu? Are you afraid of him? If you're so scared, then don't come and talk to me. Let me tell you, I'm scarier than Suyu. I'm not your mother and I won't let you do whatever you want. With that, Huamin turned around and left. Very well, bitch. Just you wait. Zhao Qingyao grabbed her mask and threw it to the ground. After sending Zhao Qingyao off, Huamin went to check the rooms. Along the way, Nan Nan reported the situation to her. The patient in ward number 7 has been in a better mood recently. He no longer throws tantrums and listens to you. We give him an hour of playtime every day. He seems to be more cheerful and will occasionally chat with us nurses. The psychiatrist said that since he's doing well here, he should stay here for the time being and not change shifts. They're afraid that he'll be conflicted with the unfamiliar environment and nurses. As for his family, they rarely come and seem to be very busy. His mother came the day before yesterday and left after depositing a few 100,000 yuan in the hospital card. She said that he should continue to stay here. This kind of parent is really irresponsible. A good child is ruined just like that. Huamin sighed slightly. Those parents who only knew how to solve problems with money to make up for their children would definitely teach children who lacked love in the end. Huamin sympathized with that youth. When they arrived at room 7, she saw the nurse giving the young man in 4 drip. He was very quiet and did not move at all. When he saw Huamin enter, he seemed a little excited. Sister, you're here? How are you feeling today? Huamin smiled. Much better. I'm calmer and not as manic as before. That's good. Just your mood. The medicine we gave you can only be used as a supplement. It can't solve the root cause. The most important thing is your mood. Yes, I'll listen to you. I'm not so angry when I lose the game. If I get killed, I'll just come back next time. Huamin nodded. That's good to think that way. Rest well. If you need anything, tell the nurse. Okay, I got it. Then you continue with the 4 drip. I'll go to another ward first. Huamin was just about to leave when the youth suddenly spoke behind her. Sister, can I ask you for a favor? What is it? Huamin was confused. Chapter 450. Can you take my place in tomorrow's ranking match? I want to see if you're good at it. Sure, no problem. But after the match, you have to go out and get some sun with me. Deal. The young man smiled brightly. Huang Jiaming was a complete shut-in. He didn't like to exercise, let alone get some sun. Huamin also hoped that he could slowly adjust his mentality. In order to help the patient recover, he had to play games with her. Walking out of the ward, Nan Nan smiled. Head nurse, you're so popular. You can handle any kind of patient. People need to know how to get along with each other. Patients can be treated like friends. If you're honest with them, they'll naturally return the favor. Looks like I've learned a lot. Nan Nan had gone from hating Huamin like Jiao Jiao to worshipping Huamin. It had been a long process. Now Huamin was famous at Southside. Patients from other departments often came to her to discuss their patients and ask her to help with their recovery plans. Some patients even gave her gifts, but she wouldn't accept them unless they were small trinkets. After work, Huamin drove straight to Zhulingling. The two of them stopped at a Taiwanese restaurant. Huamin took out a paper bag and handed it to her. This is for you. Wow, Hermes bags. The latest model. There are even 2 of them. You're really generous. What's going on? Do you have something to ask of me? Zhulingling asked with a smile. Well, then why did you give me a gift for no reason? Zhulingling found it strange. Huasiqian gave this to me. I can't take it back and I don't want it. It's a pity to throw it away. It's best to give it to you. Why would you throw it away? So expensive. It's the right thing to give it to me. Zhulingling loved luxury goods. When she saw the 2 bags, she liked them very much. How are things going between you and Gao Ran? Huamin asked casually as he ate. What do you mean? You make it sound like there's something going on between us. Of course the two of you are having an affair. Don't talk nonsense. Don't blame me for sealing your mouth. Zhu Lingling laughed and joked with Huamin. Huamin liked to be with Zhu Lingling because he felt relaxed. When there was something to talk about, they would talk about it. When there was nothing to talk about, even if the two of them did not say anything, they would not feel awkward. This was much better than those besties who appeared to be on good terms with each other on the surface, but in private they would plot against each other and tear each other apart. By the way, did you know that Lu Xing is engaged? I don't know when. Huamin was a little surprised. Yeah, you left the group so you didn't see the message. It happened a few days ago. She made an announcement in the group and a lot of people went. But she's rich so she didn't accept any gifts. I heard that he's also a rich second-generation heir who came back from overseas and is quite good-looking. Don't be mad when I tell you. What's there to be mad about? Huamin lowered his head and ate a piece of pork rib. I saw her fiancé's photo in the group. He looks a little like Qin Chu. Really? Yeah, just a little but not completely. Maybe that's why Lu Xing likes him. Seeing that she has no hope of getting Qin Chu, she switched to a substitute. She's pretty crazy. Zhu Lingling sighed. I think she's pretty smart. She knows what she wants. For example, she likes Qin Chu and she doesn't hide it. She doesn't feel sad when she rejects him. Even if she's looking for someone to marry, she's looking for someone who looks like Qin Chu. I have to say, someone like her is pretty persistent. Haha, you're right. But this is great, you have one less love rival. Zhu Lingling laughed. Come on, she's not a love rival. Mr. Qin doesn't even care about her. At most it's one-sided love, okay? Lu Xing had been obsessed with Qin Chu since high school, and Huamin was already used to it. After all, she knew too well what kind of person Qin Chu was. Su family mansion. Su drove home. His family was having dinner and his parents and grandfather were all there. It was a happy family. This set of jewelry is for you. Su took out the jewelry he bought at an auction a few days ago and handed it to Lady Su. Chapter 451. Hey, it's not a holiday, it's not my birthday. Why are you giving me jewelry? Lady Su was very happy. She opened the box, took out the bracelet and gestured with it on her wrist. GK held a charity banquet a few days ago. I did something good and donated money, Su said honestly as he touched the bridge of his nose. Lord Su was obviously in a good mood. He smiled and said, You did the right thing. When you have a certain level of ability, you should think about giving back to society. This is called take from the people and use for the people. His grandpa was an old leader in the military and liked to speak ancient Chinese. He was used to it. He walked up to his grandpa, sat down next to him and poured himself a small glass of wuliangye. Drink with grandpa today. Okay, you little brat, it's rare for you to be in the mood. Your grandpa has high blood sugar, don't drink so much with him, Mr. Su reminded him with a serious face. Hey, it's okay. It's rare for the kid to be happy, so I'm happy too. Mr. Su smiled. Oh right, during my inspection I saw the granddaughter of one of my former subordinates. She's also in the military academy. She's really pretty and smart. She's already a battalion commander in the army. I heard that the army is on a mountain to the north of us. It's not far away. You guys should meet when you have time. Young people should have a lot to talk about. Grandpa, I don't lack women. You don't have to go through the trouble of introducing them to me. Su took a sip of white wine and replied. Mr. Su said unhappily, those women of yours are nothing. Your grandpa said that actresses can't enter the Su family. You should give up on that thought. Look at you, we're just having dinner. Why are you talking to the kid about this? Is you someone who doesn't know his limits? He knows what he's talking about. Mrs. Su immediately defended her son. Dad, don't worry. I won't marry a female celebrity. Su didn't talk back to his father. Mr. Su didn't say anything else. He seemed to be satisfied with his son's answer. You're not young anymore. If you don't want to get married, you can get engaged first. My old buddies already have grandchildren. I don't want to have grandchildren, but at least let me see my granddaughter-in-law. Don't fall in love with her. Otherwise, if Grandpa dies one day, I won't be able to see him. Grandpa, you will live to 100 years old. You won't die. Don't flatter me, kid. I'm just a normal person. I'll be 70 years old in a few years. At most I'll have 10 more years to live. Don't make me wait too long, Grandpa Lord Su said seriously. Mrs. Su suddenly thought of something and asked, "Hey son, you told me last time that you liked that girl. How is she now? Is there any progress?" "No, I'm still in one-sided love." "Su, you told the truth. Unrequited love? Look at how useless you are. Why don't you go and confess?" Master Lord Su was getting anxious. "Su, you scratched the back of his head. I said it once, but she rejected me. Coward. If you reject her once, there's a second time. If the second time doesn't work, there's a third time. As the saying goes, sincerity can move metal and stone. You must be patient," Lord Su advised. "I haven't given up. I'm just waiting for a good opportunity," Su argued. "What kind of girl is she? What does her family do?" Mr. Su asked in a muffled voice. "She's a nurse in a hospital. Her family is very ordinary. Her mother runs a supermarket and her brother is in college." "Too ordinary." Mr. Su was obviously dissatisfied. Master Lord Su immediately interrupted, "Hey? As long as the kid likes her, don't be picky. You remember Grandpa's words. As long as she's from a good family, has a good personality, a good heart and is filial, it's fine." "She meets all these requirements, Grandpa." "Okay, that's good. Continue to pursue her and let Grandpa meet her as soon as possible." "Yeah, son, I'm getting anxious," Mrs. Su agreed. "I'll try my best." To be honest, Su didn't have much confidence. Originally, he was full of confidence, but when he found out that she was married to Qin Chu, he was very shocked. Moreover, Huamin's attitude towards him was worse than that towards an ordinary friend. He was very cold. Even if he wanted to do something, he didn't know where to start. After Huamin and Zhu Lingling finished eating, Zhu Lingling suggested that they go shopping. At a certain watch counter, Huamin bumped into Lady Qin. There were a few middle-aged rich ladies beside her. "Hey, that looks like Qin Chu's mother," Zhu Lingling pointed at a woman and whispered. Chapter 452. Why don't we go somewhere else? Zhu Lingling suggested when she saw that Huamin's expression wasn't too good. Huamin nodded. To be honest, he felt really bad when he saw Lady Qin. He really didn't like her. Maybe it was because the conflict and resentment between them were so deep that they couldn't be easily resolved. Just as they were about to leave, Lady Qin suddenly turned around and saw Huamin. She immediately walked over and stopped her. "Why are you hiding when you see me? Are you scared of me? You uneducated thing. It's so depressing to see you here." "You must be joking. Sometimes I don't hide because I'm scared. I just hate it. It's like when I'm walking and I see asshole. Am I supposed to step on it? Of course I hide because it's disgusting." Huamin smiled calmly. "Are you saying that I'm disgusting?" Lady Qin raised her voice and attracted the attention of a few other rich ladies. "I didn't say anything. You're the one who took it for granted." "Lady Qin, who is she?" A few rich ladies came over to watch the show. They looked at Huamin as if she were an animal. It made her very uncomfortable. "She's just a piece of trash that my son played with 7 years ago." Lady Qin didn't give Huamin any face. She never cared about what she said in public, probably because she hated Huamin to the core. "Auntie Qin, you're going a bit overboard." Zhu Lingling couldn't stand it anymore and spoke up for Huamin. "Don't try to get close to me. Who's your auntie? If I know you. Don't think that you're a socialite just because you're wearing designer clothes and carrying designer bags. You're just trying to imitate others. You don't have the aura of nobility, yet you pretend to be rich. Poor kids. You're all scheming bitches. I hate poor people like you who pretend to be pitiful and try to get sympathy." Lady Qin kept referring to poor people. It was obvious that she had a huge problem with the gap between the rich and the poor. As soon as she said that, the other noble ladies started whispering to each other. "Yes, we have the same thoughts as you. We look down on these poor people the most. Not only do they look poor, but they also deliberately wear branded bags to dress themselves up. They don't know that they don't have the fortune to be rich. Even if they wear a dragon robe, they don't look like an emperor." Hee, that's right. This girl really doesn't know how to love herself. How old was she 7 years ago? She threw herself at him. It must be because your young master is too charming. The words were getting more and more unpleasant, but Huamin didn't look angry at all. She just smiled. "What are you laughing at? Some people are ugly by nature, but they can't see it. They always think that others are ugly. Their hearts are not beautiful, so they feel that the whole world owes them. They don't know that it's their own problem. How sad." Huamin didn't curse on the streets like they did because he felt that it would be too demeaning. Therefore, when Lady Qin heard the deeper meaning behind his words, she immediately became angry. Don't think that I can't tell just because you're scolding me in a roundabout way. Let me tell you, as long as I'm alive, you can forget about entering my house. Oh really? Then I'll have to enter your house. Let's see where your front door opens. If you dare, I'll definitely kick you out. Sure, then I'll kick your son out as well. It's best if he doesn't come home. I'm sorry, I don't have time to talk to you. I'll see you next week. I'll visit you and your husband next week. Remember to prepare dinner and wait for us. After speaking, Huamin smiled sweetly and waved at Lady Qin. Lady Qin was so angry that she rolled her eyes. Luckily, her heart was strong. Otherwise, she would have collapsed to the ground. Compared to scolding someone, sometimes smiling and infuriating them was the scariest thing. After they walked out of the mall, Zhu Lingling gave Huamian a thumbs up. Good, very good. You didn't see how Qin Chu's mother looked, her face was green. I was already very polite to her. I haven't even properly dealt with her for what she did to my mother. Huamin said coldly, so, are you planning on fighting a war of attrition with his mother? Zhu Lingling was worried about the relationship between Huamian and Huamian. Huamin nodded. Then have you thought about how Qin Chu would react if he found out that you did something to his mother? If this continues, won't it affect your relationship? No matter how bad his mother is, she's still his biological mother, Zhu Lingling asked worriedly. Chapter 453. I used to think too much, so I was afraid of the wolf and missed out on a lot of things. After being separated from Qin Chu for 7 years, I was like a zombie, living like a machine every day. After he came back, I felt like I found my true self again. Jixin was right, life is short, we can't always think too much and worry too much. Let's take it one step at a time. I know that being with Qin Chu right now is my greatest happiness. Huamin slowly said these words. Everyone has their own way of living, don't tire yourself out. Qin Chu is Qin Chu and his mom is his mom. You're living with him, not his parents. That brat Jixin is young, but his words are very reasonable. It seems like I'll have to ask him for advice if I ever get into trouble in the future. Seeing that Huamin wasn't so sensitive and didn't think too much, Zhu Lingling also let out a sigh of relief. Otherwise, she and Gao Ran would be exhausted just by reading their story. After shopping around with Zhu Lingling, they went home separately. Huamin bought a lot of vegetables, fruits and meat, and the fridge was full of them. She took out her phone, carefully took a picture and posted it on her WeChat friend circle. Every time I see the fridge being so friendly, I feel so happy. Qin Chu immediately commented, this fridge is too ugly, I'll change it tomorrow. Ahem, you're jealous of the fridge, are you a man or not? Don't you know if I'm a man or not? Huamin was speechless. Gao Ran then commented below, everyone come and watch. This couple is so dirty in broad daylight, they're blinding me. Is it because the security in Sea City has been so good lately that you're bored? Qin Chu replied coldly. They were having so much fun in the comments. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you guys, you're going to break my fridge. Huamin put down her phone and went into the kitchen after replying to all of them. By the time Qin Chu got off work, she had already made 4 dishes and a soup. The truth was, Huamin was a woman who lived a good life. She ate well and slept well. She never mistreated herself. Some women were very poor and didn't want to eat or drink, so they gave it all to their husbands and sons. In the end, her husband would cheat on her with a mistress, because no man would like a haggard woman. Therefore, Huamin thought that while she was fat and fair, she also had to feed Qin Chu well. He couldn't allow him to be so eye-catching and dazzling. Dinner's ready. Huamian clapped her hands with a smile when she saw Qin Chu walk in. So much good food. Qin Chu looked at the table full of dishes. Yeah, Lingling and I went shopping. There wasn't much to buy, but we bought a lot of ingredients. Try it, it's my first time making Sichuan cuisine like spicy boiled fish. Qin Chu took off his jacket and washed his hands. He saw a big metal bowl on the dining table with red chili peppers on it. It looks good. Hurry up and eat, it'll get cold soon. They made a spicy boiled fish and 3 stir-fried vegetables. The 2 of them ate happily. Huamin was very talented at cooking. After all, she had a high IQ and could learn anything. She took less than half a year to learn what other people took 10 years to learn. Therefore, even though it was her first time making spicy boiled fish, it was still super delicious. Qin Chu didn't even look up during the entire meal and just ate with his head down. However, Huamin felt a sense of accomplishment. Honey, yeah? I bumped into your mom when I was shopping today and we got into an argument. Huamin put down her chopsticks and confessed. Chapter 454. Him and then? Who won? Qin Chu asked nonchalantly. I won. I think I made your mom really mad. Huamin thought Qin Chu would tell her not to lower herself to the old woman's level and try to persuade her. To her surprise, he actually said, "Well done, wifey." But isn't she your mother? Huamin felt awkward. You're my wife too. Qin Chu answered matter-of-factly. So all men forget about their mothers after they get married? Huamin asked half-jokingly. Of course not, I'm just stating facts. If you bullied my mom for no reason I would have scolded you. But I know my mom too well. She likes to stir up trouble and has a sharp tongue. You don't like to stir up trouble, so you know who's to blame. With my mom's temper, she needs to be taught a lesson. Otherwise, my dad and I won't have a good life. Alright, what you said makes sense. Qin Chu was a man who knew what was right and wrong. He knew what kind of person Huamin was, so he didn't blame Huamin for arguing with his mother. He didn't blame her because he knew that Huamian knew what she was doing and wouldn't argue with his mother for no reason. The next morning, Huamin was working the night shift, so she didn't have anything to do during the day. After breakfast with Qin Chu suggested that she come to GK. I don't think so. If you go to the meeting, what will I do? You can read in the office. I have tens of thousands of books on my bookshelf. You can read as much as you want. Okay, in the end, Huamin was convinced. She got into Qin Chu's car and went to GK headquarters. Qin Chu didn't like to be late, so every time he came to work, it was the peak hour for his employees. Most people already knew about the president's girlfriend, but there were still a few who hadn't seen Huamin in person. Huamin was only wearing a pair of black wide-legged pants and a white slim-fit suit with 8-quarter sleeves. He had the temperament of a senior executive. When she was with such an outstanding Qin Chu, her aura did not lose to his at all. He was very magnanimous. Every frown and every smile was extremely elegant. Huamin didn't expect to see Wang Tao, the man from the technical department on the first floor. He was the man who had struck up a conversation with her at Seductive Fox. Wang Tao did not expect to see this woman here. At that time he was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Because she was playing with the CEO's arm, it seemed that everything was real. She was indeed the CEO's woman. When Huamin glanced at Wang Tao, he immediately recognized him. However, she didn't stay for long. She pretended that she didn't remember and ignored it. Wang Tao was scared half to death. Fortunately, he didn't recognize him. Otherwise, if he complained to the president, he would definitely lose his job. Supervisor Wang, what's wrong? You don't look well, a colleague asked. Oh, it's nothing. That woman is the president's girlfriend? Wang Tao asked anxiously. Yeah, everyone's seen her. You probably didn't notice, but even though the president hasn't officially introduced her to everyone, I'm sure she's the boss's wife. After all, the president has never been so nice to a woman. Even Assistant Yang has to respectfully greet her as young madam. Oh, I see. Wang Tao was so scared that he was sweating profusely. He didn't even dare to take the elevator. Instead, he climbed up to the 7th floor and returned to the technical department. Then he didn't dare to leave the headquarters for the rest of the day. He was scared that he would run into Huamin and be recognized. Inside the president's office, Qin Chu went to a morning meeting. Huamin sat alone on the sofa, reading The Ordinary World. Assistant Yang personally poured a cup of coffee for her. He even ordered the secretaries to prepare snacks for the morning tea. The service was very good. Huamin inadvertently looked up and glanced at Qin Chu's desk. To her surprise, there was an exquisite photo frame on Qin Chu's desk. The photo in the photo frame was of her from 7 years ago. She had a ponytail, a youthful face, and a carefree smile. Just then the office door was pushed open. Chapter 455. What are you looking at? Why are you so engrossed? As soon as Qin Chu walked in, he saw Huamin standing in front of his desk. I'm looking at this. Why did you keep it? It's so ugly. Huamin smiled as he pointed at the photo. Says who? I think this is your most beautiful moment. So you're saying that I don't look good now? Of course not, I just want to keep the beautiful memories of the past. When I have time, I'll take it out and reminisce about the time I lost. This photo is very important to me. Chin Chu didn't directly say that during the 7 years he was in the States, he relied on this photo to get through the 4 seasons where he missed Huamin day and night. However, Huamin could tell from his eyes. She coquettishly wrapped her arms around Chin Chu's neck and said, "That photo isn't nice, it's from so many years ago. When you're free, let's go take our wedding photos. We're going to the Maldives for our wedding photos, we can't just make do." Chin Chu lovingly kissed her on the cheek. "How's the morning meeting? Did it go well?" "It's the same every day," Chin Chu said as he sat back down on his chair. He opened his laptop and pulled up the stock market for the day. "Honey, there's something I want to talk to you about." "What is it?" "I want to drive to Dong Tao Town this afternoon." "Dong Tao Town? Are you going to investigate that?" Chin Chu stared into her eyes and asked. Huamin nodded. "Don't go yet, I already sent someone to investigate for you." "What? You investigated? When did this happen?" Huamin was a little surprised. "I just received a reply yesterday. You didn't even mention it to me." Huamin complained. After all, this was a big deal for her. Chin Chu was silent for a few seconds. Then he took out a brown envelope from his drawer and tossed it to Huamin. "It's all here. Take a look for yourself. It's not good news, so I wasn't in a hurry to tell you." Huamin couldn't wait to take the craft paper bag. He opened it and looked at the information. His face became more and more unsightly. Then Chin Chu said, "Dr. Lon, who helped Yang Merong deliver her baby, moved away with her whole family 3 years after you were born. No one knows where they went. Even the relatives and friends nearby don't know where they went. The previous hospital director, Zhu Haiqing, passed away due to cerebral infarction 2 years ago. The strangest thing is the last piece of news. The medical center's database caught fire the year Dr. Lon moved away. It destroyed a lot of birth records. Basically, we can't find any birth certificate stubs for the children born in those years." "This is really too strange." Huamin felt chills all over his body. "That's right. I think it's really strange too. With so many strange things happening, it can only mean one thing. Someone is deliberately hiding something. Maybe it has something to do with your background. But now, all the clues to my background have been cut off." Huamin was a little dispirited. She thought she would be able to find her biological parents soon, but all the clues were cut off. "Don't worry. No matter how perfect the cover is, the truth is still the truth. There will always be flaws. But I have a big hypothesis." Chin Chu wanted to say something, but he stopped. "What hypothesis?" Huamin looked up at him in confusion. "I think your background might be special. Your parents might be special people. Otherwise, the mastermind wouldn't have gone to such great lengths to hide your background. What do you think?" Huamin didn't say anything, but she knew that Chin Chu was right. If it was really like what she thought, it was just a mistake. It shouldn't be so complicated. So many strange things wouldn't happen. Dr. Lan's entire family disappeared. The hospital caught fire. Everyone who knew about the incident back then couldn't be found. The only person who might know, Uncle Jing, was already dead. He didn't say anything before he died. All of this was too strange. "Don't worry, I'll continue to help you. I won't give up on your chance to find your biological parents." Chin Chu walked over and sat beside Huamin. He put his arm around her shoulders and comforted her. "I have a feeling that they're still alive. They must be somewhere in this world." Huamin said word by word. "Do you plan to tell your mother and Jixin about this?" Chin Chu asked again. Chapter 456. Huamin shook his head. "I don't plan on telling her. My mom's health isn't good to begin with, and she can't take the blow. She doesn't know and always thinks that I'm her biological daughter. I'm afraid that she won't be able to take it if I tell her the truth. As for Jixin, I don't plan on telling him either. If I tell him, it'll ruin a lot of relationships. Plus, I haven't found my biological parents yet, so I'll tell them when I get in touch with them." "Okay, that's good. Honey, when I have time, I want to go to Dong Tao Town and look for clues. I want to see the town where I was born. Every time I think about how my biological parents gave birth to me, I want to go there and see for myself." "Okay, I'll go with you after I'm done with work. If you want, we can stay there for a few days." Huamin nodded. At noon, Huamin ate lunch with Chin Chu at the company. In the afternoon, Chin Chu went to the construction site to investigate. Huamin took a taxi home. He wanted to take advantage of the holidays to do some cleaning. However, to his surprise, he received a call from Xinjiani. With her unique voice, she said sweetly, Huamin, let's meet up. Auntie has something to talk to you about. Huamin thought about it and decided to go. After all, if he didn't go, they might go to Southside to look for him. If that happened, it would affect her work. When Huamin entered a luxurious coffee shop downtown, he saw Xinjiani and Hu Yanyan. Xinjiani was wearing a moon-white cheongsam. She still looked charming and her skin was well maintained. Hu Yanyan was wearing a fiery red organza princess gown. Her wavy hair made her look charming and flirtatious. Why are you looking for me? Huamin walked over and asked straightforwardly. Mion, sit down. Waiter, give her a glass of orange juice. Xinjiani made the decision. It's okay, I'll just drink water. Okay, waiter, give her a glass of water. Xinjiani then looked at Huamin with a smile. You seem to be getting prettier and prettier. She actually praised Huamin for the first time. It seemed like the weasel was paying a New Year's visit to the chicken. He didn't have good intentions. Huamin looked at the mother and daughter and asked, if you have something to say, just say it. I don't like to beat around the bush. Hu Yanyan glared at Huamin. You're lucky to have my mom looking for you. Stop nagging and listen to whatever we say. In fact, she didn't agree to look for Huamin. However, the situation had become more and more tense recently. Xinjiani had no other choice. He planned to find a breakthrough through Huamin. Mion, if I did something wrong in the past, please don't take it to heart. Yanyan is younger than you, so she's your little sister. Don't lower yourself to her level. Sometimes she's just too straightforward. Forgive her, huh? Being straightforward and being mean are two different things. I don't think I need to forgive her. After all, we're not friends. I don't need you to forgive me. Who do you think you are? I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. Hu Yanyan was furious. Just as she was about to explode, Xinjiani stopped her. Yan, sit down. What did I tell you before we came? Didn't I tell you to get along well with your sister? Xinjiani pretended to scold Hu Yanyan. Hu Yanyan angrily turned her head to the side. Then Xinjiani smiled at Huamin and said, Hu Xiqian, the truth is, I'm looking for you because I have no other choice. I hope you can help. Hu Xiqian has been making too many moves recently, and C has been forced to go to the Philippines. The conditions there are tough and he hasn't been through much hardship, so he can't take it. Your dad has the board of directors holding him back, so he doesn't dare to transfer him back. After all, there are a lot of interests involved. Plus, Hu Xiqian has arranged for a lot of his own people to come here. So, what can I do? Huamin took a sip of water and asked. Chapter 457. I hope that you can come back to the Hu Corporation and become a member of the board of directors. Then, as one of the heirs of the Hu family, your words will carry a lot of weight. If you have any requests, your father will do as you say. I don't want anything else, I just want you to help us transfer C back. I'm sorry, I can't help you. I won't let you help us for free. I'll give you 1,000,000 yuan after you succeed. Xinjiani was willing to pay. Before Huamin could say anything, Xinjiani took out a square brocade box from her bag and handed it to him. What is this? Huamin was confused. It's an Omega watch, the latest model for women. 188,000 yuan. As a show of sincerity, please accept this watch. Xinjiani pushed the brocade box in front of Huamin. Huamin sneered on the inside. It seemed like the mother and daughter of the Hu family had given him a lot of money and a watch this time. It seemed like Hu Xiqian had been playing too hard lately, and forced them into a corner. I'm sorry, I really can't help you. You should remember that I already announced in the newspaper that I will never go back to the Hu family. That's okay, your father won't mind those reports. After all, you two are related by blood. Xinjiani was still holding on to the last shred of hope that she could convince Huamin. Huamin really wanted to be honest with her and tell her that she wasn't Hu Jinghai's daughter, but now was not the time. After all, there were too many implications. It's not about whether he minds or not, it's about me. I don't want to go back to the Hu family, so I can't help you. I'm sorry. After speaking, Huamin stood up and left without even looking at the watch. Xinjiani's expression changed slightly. She didn't think that Huamin would reject her so straightforwardly without even thinking about it. Hu Yanyan was anxious. She stood up and yelled, You don't know what's good for you. Don't blame me for not having a good life in the future. Don't provoke me. Otherwise you won't have a good life either. Huamin glanced coldly at Hu Yanyan. Huamin really hated Hui Yanyan just like how he hated He-Man. If she really did something overboard, he would definitely not let her off. I told you not to come. This little bitch doesn't know how to appreciate favors. I heard that she has an affair with Suyu. Now that she has climbed up the social ladder, why would she be interested in small fries like us? Even if you fail, you still have to try. What if you agree? It's not an extra way to live. You're just not mentally stable. There's nothing urgent. C is the same as you. None of you are like me. Xinjiani sighed. She had been smart all her life, but in the end she had given birth to two idiots. When she was young, she had to fight with many mistresses and Hua Jinghai's wife, Jiang Hong. Now that she was old, she was still restless. She even had to fight with Hua Xiqian for her children. Therefore, the road to becoming a rich family was not easy. Most of the time, people only saw the glamour on the outside. They didn't know how cruel the internal strife was. Come with me, Mom, where else are we going? The ghetto. The ghetto? Why would we go there? It's so dirty and smelly, Hui Yanyan complained pretentiously. Let's go find Huamin's mother and see if we can persuade her. Xinjiani sat in Hui Yanyan's Porsche 911. As soon as the luxury car stopped in front of the courtyard, it attracted everyone's attention. Yang Mirong was sitting in the courtyard washing the sheets. When she saw Xinjiani, her expression changed drastically. How have you been? Xinjiani smiled. What are you doing here? Yang Mirong glared at Xinjiani and asked angrily. Chapter 458. I'm here to see you. You're here to see me? What a joke, you're just here to see how miserable my life is. Thanks to you, I'm not miserable at all. I'm living a carefree life, and I don't have to worry about my children being bullied by others and ending up with nothing. My daughter is working and supporting herself, and my son is in college. The three of us are living a happy life. So, Superstar Shin, get out of here, there's no place for you here. Hey, you old woman, how can you talk to my mom like that? Yang Mirong glanced at Hui Yanyan. You really are Hua Jinghai's daughter. Not only do you look like him, but you also have the same temper. You're so stubborn you might not be able to get married in the future. Who are you calling unmarriageable, you damned old woman? Yan, don't be rude. Xinjiani immediately stopped Hui Yanyan from going crazy. Sis, I'm not here to fight, I want to make a deal with you. A deal? Yang Mirong looked at the mother and daughter curiously. Yes, a deal. What kind of deal? Help us convince Huamin to come back to the Hua Corporation and help us. And I promise to give you a 100 square meter house in the 3rd Ring Road. Look at this place, it's not nice, it's far from the city, it's hot in the summer and cold in the winter. It's not a place for people to live. Also, your son is 18 or 19 years old, right? He's going to get married in the future, and you can't just give this old house to someone's future daughter-in-law, right? She definitely won't like it. You're really generous. A 100 square meter house in the 3rd Ring Road. Yang Mirong smiled. That's right, with the current housing price of 20,000 yuan per square meter, a 100 square meter house is worth 2 million yuan. What do you think? I didn't mistreat you, did I? Plus, once Huamin enters the Hua Corporation, she'll be rewarded even more. Isn't it your biggest dream to bring Huamin back and have Shanghai acknowledge her as his daughter? That was in the past. I've long since given up on that idea. Not to mention that Huamin doesn't want to admit it. Even if Hua Jinghai comes to beg me personally, I won't agree to your request. You never make deals where you lose out, so why would you be so kind as to give me a house? It must be Jiang Hong who forced you and your mother into a dead-end hot. You. Xinjiani didn't expect Yang Mirong to see through everything. Don't take me for an idiot. I may be old, but I can still see the situation clearly. That old bastard Hua Jinghai tried to trick my daughter and me. Luckily, my daughter saw through it, or else you guys would have plotted against her. Your whole family is heartless and unscrupulous. You don't have the slightest bit of kinship. I don't care about your stinky money. Scram, don't dirty my place. If a tiger doesn't show its might, do you really think I'm a sick cat? Do you think I'm a widow and an orphan? Bitch. Then Yang Mirong splashed a bucket of dirty water at her. Xinjiani and Hui Yanyan were completely drenched. Hey, you crazy woman, what are you doing? Get out of here. Don't say that I'm calling the police to warn you for trespassing. I'm going to beat you to death. Hui Yanyan said as she tried to rush up. Let's go, Yanyan, let's not waste time with her. Xinjiani hadn't lost her mind yet. After being splashed with water, She didn't want to waste any more time and dragged her daughter away. Xinjiani thought she was smart, but both of her plans failed. She cried and called Hu Jinghai. Hu Jinghai felt bad for his mistress, so after comforting her for a long time he decided to do it himself. Imperial Star Entertainment Headquarters. President Su, the chairman of the Hu Corporation wants to see you? Hu Jinghai. Suyu was lying on his office chair listening to music. He was bored out of his mind, so he was quite surprised to hear that Hu Jinghai was looking for him. He didn't remember having any business dealings with this person. Let him in. Suyu waved his hand and took off his headphones. Chapter 459. Nice to meet you, nephew Su. Hu Jinghai greeted politely as soon as he entered the room. Suyu didn't even get up from his chair. Instead, he continued to lie down in a carefree manner. It was obvious that he didn't care about Hu Jinghai at all. Oh, President Hu, have a seat. After Hu Jinghai sat down, Suyu's secretary brought in 2 cups of tea. Hu Jinghai took a sip and praised, "Wow, this is good tea. This must be Longjing tea after the Qingming festival rain. It's sweet and refreshing, it's hard to come by." "Oh, I don't know what this is either. Someone gave it to my dad. He couldn't finish it so he gave it to me. It's especially for old men like you." Suyu didn't think twice about calling Hu Jinghai old man. However, Hu Jinghai wasn't angry. Humans were all snobbish. If Suyu wasn't a member of the Su family, Hu Jinghai probably would have gotten mad at him for calling him that. "Ah, you're such a straightforward person. I like it." Suyu narrowed his eyes and said in a daze, "I remember that I don't have any business dealings with President Hu's company anymore, right? May I know why you're here?" "Since you asked, I won't hide it from you. I heard that you're interested in my daughter Hu Min. Is that true?" Hu Jinghai put down his teacup and looked at Suyu's face. "My daughter? Is Hu Min related to you?" Suyu asked even though he already knew the answer. "You probably don't know, huh? I'm too embarrassed to mention it. It's a romantic debt from more than 20 years ago. Hu Min is my daughter who led a wandering life." "Led a wandering life? No way. Why did I hear that you don't recognize her as your daughter? I only know that Hu Yanyan is your only daughter." Hu Mion's mother didn't want to forgive me. I was young back then and hurt her. Now that I'm older, I value family ties more and more, so. Hu Jinghai continued to play the gentle card, trying to play the role of a good father to Hu Min in front of Suyu. Suyu truly felt disgusted. No wonder Hu Min had announced in the newspaper that he was cutting ties with the old man. If it had been him, he would have slapped the old man away. "I see. So you came here to ask me this?" "Yes, after all, rumors are just rumors. I don't dare to believe them completely, so I came to ask you." "It's true. I like Hu Min, but she doesn't like me and refuses to talk to me." Really?" Hu Jinghai seemed to be pleasantly surprised. "Yeah, I've tried everything, but she still won't look at me. There's nothing I can do. I should give up first." Suyu said deliberately. I think I can help you, nephew." "You can help me? How?" Suyu finally stood up lazily from his chair and looked at Hu Jinghai. "I can help you convince Hu Mian. Although she's a bit stubborn, she's very soft-hearted. If I take her back to the Hu family and give her a proper status, I believe that if she gets engaged to you in the future, your Su family will be proud." "Engaged? You're thinking too far ahead." Suyu sneered. "It's not impossible. Once our 2 families get married, our businesses will advance by leaps and bounds. I think your father would like to see our 2 families join forces." My family doesn't really mind. My grandfather said that in the future, as long as my wife is a girl with a clean background, it's fine." Yes, old Master Su is right. But, President Hu, I don't think you can help me." "Nephew, why do you say that?" Hu Jinghai looked at Suyu as if he had something else to say. "Because Hu Min is already married." "What?" Hu Jinghai was dumbfounded. You look like you don't know." Suyu looked at Hu Jinghai's dumbfounded face with amusement and felt very happy. "Who is she married to?" Hu Jinghai felt that the news was too fast for him to digest. Chapter 460. TSK, aren't you Mion's biological father? How could you not know about such a big thing?" "I really don't know. My dear nephew, is there a mistake?" "A mistake? No, Suyu's information has never been wrong. The Civil Affairs Bureau can verify it. You can see for yourself. Then, when did she get married? Who did she marry? Hu Jinghai felt like his heart was beating at a weird rate. Hu Xiqian never mentioned this to him. Could it be that Hu Xiqian didn't know? You probably know that person as well. He's the new president of GK Qin Chu. They've been married for about 4 months now. Thinking about how Hu Min was already married when he met him, Su Yu's heart felt stifled. He felt like he came too late. Qin Chu? GK? This time Hu Jinghai was even more nervous. After chatting with Su Yu for a while, he found an excuse to leave. Then he went straight to the Hu Corporation. At the headquarters of the Hu Corporation, Hu Xiqian was signing documents. Then he saw Hu Jinghai walk in angrily. Dad, why are you here? Hu Min is married, why didn't you tell me? What? Married? Dad, you must be joking. Little sister Mian is still a little girl, how could she be married? Hu Xiqian smiled. Su Yu said it himself. Also, I sent someone to check with the Civil Affairs Bureau. They are indeed married. Huh? Really? Who is she married to? Hu Xiqian pretended to be surprised. You don't know? Dad, how would I know? You know that little sister Mian doesn't like me. She won't even say a word to me, let alone something as big as this. That damned girl sure is tight-lipped. Hu Jinghai believed Hu Xiqian when he heard that he didn't know. Who's her husband? Why haven't I heard anything about it? I'll tell you about it slowly. Hu Jinghai didn't directly tell Hu Xiqian about Qin Chu's relationship. He was afraid that once Hu Xiqian found out that Hu Min had such a powerful backing, he would use it to his advantage. He wanted to win Hu Min over to Xinjiani's side. As Hu Xiqian watched Hu Jinghai leave the office, his eyes gradually turned cold. Old fox, you're still playing tricks on me even now? Heh. South Side Sanatorium. Hu Min took the boy from room 7 for a walk in the back garden. The boy's condition had stabilized a lot. However, as the number of orthopedics patients increased, he had to transfer back to the psychiatry department. After all, he could not cross departments. Sister, you're really good at this game. If there's a chance in the future, please teach me how to move. Okay, but you'll be transferred tomorrow. Don't worry though, I'll visit you upstairs. You have to cooperate with the treatment and try to get out of here as soon as possible. I don't want to go to school, sister. I want to live here forever. The boy's eyes dimmed. Silly child, what nonsense are you talking about? This is a sanatorium, not a home. But this place is better than my home. I only have a nanny and my parents are nowhere to be seen. This place is better. The nurses treat me better than my parents, especially you. You can even play games with me. I like it here. Upon hearing the boy's words, Hu Min's heart ached for him. Get better first, good boy. After taking Huang Jiaming for a walk, Hu Min packed up his things and got off work. Because there were a lot of newcomers recently, the night shift ended at 10:30 p.m. Qin Chu went to a ribbon-cutting ceremony in a neighboring city, so he wasn't home. Hu Min wasn't in a hurry either, so he dawdled until 11 p.m. After getting on the viaduct, Hu Min vaguely felt that something wasn't right. There was a black Honda business car behind her and it seemed to be following her. She wasn't very sure, so she purposely turned off the viaduct and walked in another direction. As expected, the Honda business car followed her. It was too strange. The distance was neither close nor far, so she couldn't see how many people were in the car. However, Hu Min was sure that she was being followed. She sped up, put on her earphones and dialed Gao Ran's number. Hello. Gao Ran, I'm on the viaduct in the south of the city. Coordinates 54. 271, 3. I'm being followed by a black Honda business car. Send someone to check it out immediately. After hanging up, Hu Min stepped on the gas pedal and got onto the ring highway again. Chase after her, don't let that woman get away. In the car behind her, a big man with a dark face ordered angrily. Chapter 461. The cars behind them were getting closer and closer. Hu Min stepped on the gas pedal and continued to speed up. She only wanted to stall for time on the ring highway and waste time with them. Once Gao Ran's men arrived, everything would be safe. Municipal Criminal Police Unit, quick, check the coordinates for me. Gao Ran was very anxious when he received Hu Min's call. Qin Chu was not at home. Something happened to Hu Min, how was he going to explain it to his buddy? Moreover, Hu Min had personally called for help. Captain Gao, I found it. It's the South Ring Highway. First team, follow me. We'll go and rescue her immediately. Second team, you guys flank them from the other side to cut off the escape route of those criminals. Third team, you stay here and wait for orders. If the situation becomes critical, immediately provide support. Yes, Captain Gao. Let's go. Then, Gao Ran led the first team and quickly drove toward the South Ring Highway. The police cars cleared the way and it was very smooth. Big brother, why do I feel like this woman is playing with us? Look, she doesn't even want to go anywhere. She's been leading us in circles on the highway for almost 3 rounds. Oh no, she's obviously playing with us. She's also stalling for time. She probably found out that we've called the police. Quick, we have to find a way to force her off the highway and onto a remote road. Otherwise, we won't have a chance to do anything. Big brother, I know. There's a small fork in the road 7 kilometers ahead. It's a small road that the villagers walked on. Even the GPS doesn't show the location. Should be safe there. Great, that's it. Drive faster and force her into the small road. Huamin originally thought that as long as they safely made a few rounds on the highway, everything would be fine when Gao Ran arrived. However, she thought too simply of the situation and made these kidnappers look too stupid. Just as the car drove for about 7 kilometers, a large blue truck suddenly appeared in front of them and blocked Huamin's path. The truck seemed to have broken down and was under repair. Seeing that Huamin was about to hit her, she could either choose to stop or be caught by the people behind her. Otherwise, he could choose to reverse and drive back, which was also very risky. It was very likely that he would collide with the car behind him or get caught. Just as Huamin was in a dilemma, she suddenly found a fork in the dirt road. She could drive straight down. Although the road conditions were not good, she still wanted to give it a try. Just as he was about to hit the truck, Huamin made a left turn and plunged into the dirt road beside him. Although she didn't know where this road led to, she could only choose to keep driving forward. Big brother, that woman was fooled. We really forced her into that small path. That's great. Tell Air Kai and the others to set up obstacles in front to stop her. We'll follow and block all her paths. Yes, big brother. After Huamin got off the dirt road, she didn't relax, because she saw from the rearview mirror that the black Honda business car behind her had followed her. It seemed like these people were relentless in their pursuit. Just as Huamin was about to speed up again, she suddenly saw a white van in front of her. Furthermore, the van was less than 500 meters away from him. The dirt road was very narrow. It was just before the autumn harvest, so there were yellow corn stalks on both sides. There was no way to go. She could only go forward or backward. However, Huamin knew that there were cars in front and behind her. It seemed like Gao Ran wouldn't be able to come to her rescue. Huamin took a deep breath, stepped on the gas pedal, and the car rushed forward. Big brother, that woman doesn't want to live anymore. She wants to hit our car. The driver in the white van was so scared that his face turned pale. Chapter 462. The moment Huamin dashed over, the people in the white van jumped out of their cars in fear. They ran to the side in a hurry, and Huamin's car crashed into the white van, destroying it beyond recognition. The good thing was that the white van was an inferior brand, so its quality was mediocre. On the other hand, although Huamin's CC was a domestic product, it was a joint venture with a German company, so its technology and quality were excellent. Boss, that woman is running away. The minions in the Honda behind yelled. It's okay, she can't run away. The leader of the Honda smiled coldly. It seemed like he already had other plans. Huamin drove past the white van and approached the entrance of a village. She thought that as long as she yelled when she reached a place with people, the villagers would at least take care of her, right? Just as she was about to reach the village, a little girl suddenly ran out of the road. She was about 5 or 6 years old and she was wearing a red dress. She looked very cute and her hair was tied into 2 pigtails. She was holding a lollipop in her hand. The little girl's sudden appearance scared Huamin out of her wits. Luckily, she was calm enough to step on the brakes and the car was less than 3 centimeters away from the little girl. She was so close to bumping into her. Hey Shanya, what are you doing here? It's so dangerous, come back with me. A plainly dressed rural woman immediately ran out, picked up the little girl and hid on the side of the road. Seeing Huamin stop the car, the people in the Honda were overjoyed. Boss, your idea is great. You got her for 100 yuan and that woman is willing to risk her child's life, Stop talking nonsense, get out of the car and get her. Then the people in the Honda and the van all jumped out. There were 9 of them. Each of them had a metal rod in their hand and they didn't come with good intentions. Miss Hua, please get out of the car. The leader was more polite as he walked over and opened the door of the C-seat. Huamin didn't say anything as she walked out of the car. They even knew her name, so it seemed like their plan was very detailed. Guys, did I offend you in any way? Huamin smiled. No, but you offended our friend. Oh, I don't know who it is. I'll explain it to her. There's no need to explain. My friend's temper isn't very good. He said that we should teach you a lesson. Everyone, we're all here for money. If you let me go, I'll pay you double how much your friend paid. How about that? Double? Yes, double. Huamin nodded. I'm afraid you can't afford it. My friend offered 3 million. Can you afford it? 3 million? Looks like it's really a big deal. Huamin lowered his head and quickly thought about which of his enemies would be able to fork out such a large sum of money. In an instant, He-Man, Huayanyan, Shinjiani, and even Zhou Guangming flashed through his mind. However, none of them seemed to fit. He-Man didn't have that much money, so she didn't say much. Huayanyan and the others still needed her help. Plus, if she did something like this, it wouldn't do them any good. Besides, Huayanyan didn't seem like someone who would be so generous. It wasn't like her to do things. It wasn't likely that Zhou Guangming would do it either. Qin Chu had already cleaned up the Zhou family, leaving no survivors. So the person who wanted to hurt her this time was, just by looking at the car you drive, I know you can't afford 6 million. Stop talking nonsense. Don't, brother. Let's talk nicely. Although my car isn't very good, my boyfriend is rich. He can give me the money. Really, as long as you let me go, I promise you I'll give you the 6 million. Brother, do we believe her? She doesn't look rich. Her car is only 200,000 and she doesn't wear branded clothes. Don't be fooled by her, a man said. Chapter 463. It's not that I don't trust you, but I can't go back on my word. Once we accept a job, we'll be considered a traitor if we betray our employer. Miss Hua, I'm sorry, but I'll take her away. Wait a minute. Mister, we have no grudge against each other. You're only after money. If 6 million isn't enough, I can add more as long as you're willing to let me live. I'm still young and I don't want to die. Huamin pretended to make peace with them and tried to lower their guard. Don't worry, she's not after your life. She just wants us to take a video of you. Huamin's expression changed as soon as she heard the video. Then she heard one of the thugs laugh lecherously. Mister, this chick is not bad. We'll take her back and have some fun with her. When you're done, we'll have some fun with her. I guarantee that the video will be amazing. Don't worry, we'll let you go after we're done. We're not after your life. As long as you're obedient, we won't let you get hurt, the leader of the thugs said arrogantly as he looked at Huamin. At this moment, she was all alone and trapped on a rural road where she couldn't even find the GPS. She couldn't count on Gao Ran, so she had to think of a way to save herself. There's a saying that goes, don't go too far. Mister, if you let me live, I'll make things easier for you. If you force me into a dead end, who knows what crazy things I'll do, Huamin sneered. Ha! You make it sound like I'm afraid of you. Don't worry, you can be a little crazy in bed later. I like girls with character. Otherwise, you'll be like a dead fish. It's not fun to play with you. Then the group of men burst into laughter. However, Huamin didn't show any fear. She knew that fear was useless in the face of danger. She could only save herself if she calmed down. Therefore she smiled faintly. All right, since I've fallen into your hands today, I guess I'm unlucky. I don't want to struggle anymore. However, my leg was injured in the accident just now. Can you come over and give me a hug? Yuzai, carry her to the car, the man said. Yes, big brother. No, I won't let him hug me. I'll let you hug me, Huamin said in a coquettish tone as he pointed at the leader. Me? The man was obviously surprised. Yeah, I don't like these henchmen. I know you're their big brother, so you can carry them. After Huamin finished speaking, she pouted her lips and looked adorable. Oh, big brother, it seems like you have good luck with women. As expected of our big brother, even women like you. His lackeys were sucking up to him. The leader picked his ear and smiled. All right, I'm in a good mood today. I've earned 3 million from you, so I don't mind hugging you for a while. When we get on the bed, you'll have to serve me well. As he spoke, he walked towards Huamin. Huamin smiled sweetly, which made those men even more careless. The other men all turned around and prepared to get into the car. Just as the leader of the group was about to touch Huamian, he suddenly screamed in pain. The other men immediately turned around and were stunned. Huamin had a silver needle in her hand, and it was pressed against the man's neck. Girl, what are you doing? If you don't want to die, open the way for me and let me go. Otherwise, this day next year will be the anniversary of your death, Huamin said slowly. Every word was deadly and the atmosphere became extremely tense. Chapter 464. Then Huamin applied more force and pierced the man's neck with the silver needle. The man immediately felt his entire body go numb. What's wrong? Does it feel like your entire body is stiff and your tongue is numb? Huamin asked softly. The man nodded vigorously. Oh, I forgot to tell you that I work in a hospital and come into contact with a lot of drugs every day. As a woman, I have to learn how to protect myself. That's why I carry a deadly poison with me. The silver needle is coated with the latest poison developed by our hospital. It can kill a person within an hour. In other words, if you don't get the antidote within the next hour, you will die. You bitch, let go of my brother. The thugs were so scared that their faces turned pale. Your brother is poisoned and can't speak. If you want him to die quickly, then confront me. The thugs didn't know what to do. If you want him to be fine, then send someone to drive me away. Otherwise, I'll kill him and bury him with me. After speaking, Huamin moved the silver needle and blood began to seep out of the man's neck. Yuzai, what should we do? Look at our brother's face. It's obvious that he's been poisoned. Let's let this woman go, we can't risk our brother's life. Okay, don't move. We'll drive you away. In the end, the thugs gave in. Huamin smirked. Ever since she was almost trapped by Zhou Guangming at Seductive Fox, Huamin felt that it wasn't safe for her to be alone. Just in case, she always wore a silver needle on her cuff and a button-like decoration on her clothes, which was very inconspicuous. However, the button contained a purple poison that she developed herself. It wasn't fatal, but it could paralyze a person's entire body for a short period of time. It looked scary when one's skin turned purple, but it wasn't that bad. Huamin pointed at the thug named Yuzai. You drive. The rest of you don't follow. A few minutes later, Yuzai drove Huamin's Volkswagen CC back onto the highway. The man in the lead was sitting in the back seat with his entire body purple. He couldn't say a word and looked like an idiot. Will my brother be all right? Can you give us the antidote first? I'll give it to you when we get there, Huamin said slowly with his eyes closed. To be honest, this fish boy was quite impressed by this woman. She was able to remain calm in the face of danger. There were 9 men, but they were still unable to capture a living person. He was even made a fool of. 20 minutes later, in a bustling area in the city center. Stop right in front, Huamin ordered. Antidote. I can give you the antidote, but you have to answer a question, Huamin asked. Speak. Who instigated this? I can't tell you. That's the rule. Yuzai was quite stubborn. Oh, if that's the case, I'm sorry, but the antidote is gone. You can get out of the car. Bitch, are you toying with us? The fish boys were about to explode. Don't be impulsive, young man. This is the city center. It's less than 500 meters away from the city bureau. As long as I yell, the 2 of you will be arrested immediately. I believe that you have a lot of criminal records before, right? After Huamin finished speaking, Yuzai fell silent. This woman was too smart. Her analysis of their situation was completely accurate. So your brother doesn't have much time left. If he doesn't take the antidote, he might? Our employer, she? Yuzai finally relented. Who is it? Huamin's eyes darkened as he asked coldly. Chapter 465. Her surname is Zhao and she's a rich woman. That's all I can say. Yuzai gritted his teeth as if he had made up his mind. Oh, so it's her. Huamin suddenly realized. Antidote? Yuzai reached out his hand. Then he saw Huamin take out a small glass bottle and feed his big brother some water. He's already taken the antidote. Take him to a hot bath and he'll recover immediately. Why should I believe you? Yuzai was furious. Because you don't have a choice. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. Good luck. Then Huamin pushed the big brother out of the car. Yuzai immediately got out of the car to help him up. Huamin got into the driver's seat and sped off. When Huamin got home, she took a hot bath first. She was still in shock just now. But in that situation she couldn't panic. Otherwise she would be done for if her opponent saw through her. That drug was at most anesthetic, not poison. The reason why it changed color was because she had added pigment. Then what she gave the big brother wasn't the antidote either. It was just mineral water. But she had to do it. It was to make them believe that his big brother was really poisoned. After taking a bath, Huamin took out a pen and paper and began to draw a portrait. 20 minutes later, she finished drawing the big brother's portrait. She took out her phone and realized that it had run out of battery and turned off automatically. She charged her phone and turned it on. Then she received a call from Gao Ran. Huamin, are you okay? I'm fine. Where are you now? At home. We searched according to your coordinates, but we didn't find any clues. What's going on? Who wants to harm you? Gao Ran was relieved to hear that Huamin was fine. Otherwise he would have been worried. Gao Ran, I drew his portrait and I'll send it to you on WeChat later. This guy is the leader and his henchman is called Yu Zai. I won't draw him because of time. They arranged for 2 cars to attack me. One was a black Honda with a license plate of CX1470, and the other was a white van with a license plate of ER5464. Go and check it out. It's best if you arrest them directly. They should be a group that specializes in kidnapping and they should have a criminal record. Okay, I'll check right away. By the way, don't tell Chinchu about this. Why? Gao Ran was puzzled. Such a big thing happened and he didn't tell Chinchu. Did he think he was ass? I don't want him to worry. Anyway, I'm fine, so don't tell him. Okay, but I want to know how powerful you are. You can still remember their license plate and draw their portrait. You're amazing. No wonder you have a high IQ. Cut the crap. Go and arrest them. Huamin smiled and hung up. Gao Ran's efficiency was not to be underestimated. He caught the criminal gang that night. Just as Huamin said, they had a criminal record. They were involved in many kidnapping and rape cases within a year. In one fell swoop, they destroyed their lair, a garbage recycling station in the western suburbs, and arrested 9 suspects in the same case. Of course, this was all thanks to Huamin's portrait. It was so lifelike that it looked like a real person. Gao Ran sent Huamin a WeChat message and joked, "Don't work in the hospital. Come to our city bureau and draw portraits of criminal suspects." Huamin asked arrogantly, "Can your city bureau give me a monthly salary of more than 20,000 yuan?" Gao Ran was speechless. The monthly salary of a civil servant was pitifully low. Other than a stable job, there were no other benefits. When Gao Ran finished the case that night, it was already past 1 o'clock in the morning. He excitedly called Zhu Lingling. "What's wrong with you? Why aren't you sleeping?" "Huamin was almost kidnapped today. Do you know that?" "What? Kidnapping?" Zhu Lingling immediately jumped out of her bed. She was completely energized.